Our next guests they are definitely hidden treasures of Southwest Florida. So welcome Bob and Pat to the show.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I so enjoyed learning about Protected Harbor and the incredible organization it is. I know our audience is going to fall in love with your project and what you do.
Thank you.
So tell us, what is Protected Harbor?
Protected Harbor is a Christian, faith-based organization whose sole purpose is to raise funds to build Christian care group homes. Homes for the developmentally disabled to help those who, through no fault of their own, cannot help themselves. We lovingly describe them as 8-year-old kids in 50-year-old bodies. Their parents are now up in years, and most are not in good health, and are no longer able to take care of the kids. So that's where we come into the picture.
And it's such a need, because I know some friends that have adult children that are developmentally disabled, and that runs through their head.
Mm-hmm.
I think of their other children, what's going to happen, and they think, will they take them on? So this is really a real need in the community.
I hear all the time, my daughter's going to take care of Susie, and you know, if I was Susie, I would want a better deal than that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I have a friend from church and she worries about it all the time. Now, what's the mission and purpose of your organization?
Our mission is simply to build and operate Christian care group homes for the developmentally disabled adults. But our purpose is to provide a safe haven for God's special people. And not just a safe haven, but a place where they can grow and be trained and to achieve their personal ability in spiritually, emotionally, personally.
To grow up like they went away to college or went away and got their first apartment.
And Pat, we're having a little trouble with your microphone, so we have to re-mic you in a minute. So sorry to exclude you for just a moment, but we'll get back to you. So Bob, tell us, when was it established?
It was established in 2000 by by two couples, one who had developmentally. I've been doing this for years and I can't say that.
I'm glad it's not just me.
Have a developmentally disabled daughter. They started the organization, and we got involved several years later. And in 2010, we finally got our first home built on the McGregor campus site.
Tell us about that.
Well, let's talk about the site first.
Okay.
The site is on a lake. You think you're out in the country. You're standing out here looking at this beautiful lake. You're three or 400 yards off Colonial Boulevard in Fort Myers. So, you know. But anyway, the home is about 6,000 square feet. It has 2 wings of bedrooms, one on each side. Each girl has her own bedroom and bath. The center area is the common area with a big kitchen, a great room, laundry, all that good stuff. The feature of the home is the covered patio overlooking the lake. That's everybody's favorite room. And of course, we have 2 house parent suites, one on each corner, because there is one set of house parents on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
That's incredible. Sounds like a wonderful location. Might have to come visit.
Absolutely. I would love to have you come and have dessert with the ladies, and they will not let me take you around and give you a tour. They will have to take you around and give you a tour.
Now, how does you get your funding and income?
Well, the girls' funding comes from Med Waiver and Social Security.
Okay.
And that pretty much pays the day-to-day bills. It pays for the house parents and for the running of the home. For the building and for operational reserves and for building reserves, we have to raise that money.
Okay. Pat, we got you mic'd.
I'm mic'd now.
So feel free to jump in at any time.
I just want to say these girls have become sisters, and they take care of each other, and they look out for each other, and they fight like sisters do, you know, spar back and forth and do silly things. But that's the beauty of this, because they have now become themselves instead of being mom's developmentally disabled daughter.
So they've blossomed into their own independence, and yet they have the family of
Right.
sisters. That's great.
Our home is the only one I'm aware of that was specifically designed and built to be a group home. The rest of the homes are all old homes that have been retrofitted to be group homes. So what you end up with is 3 girls in a room and 5 people sharing a bath and what have you. All our ladies have their own little suite.
Wow. That sounds
And
nice.
they clean it themselves, and they do their own laundry, and they help with dinner, and they help take care of the place.
They are expected to do whatever they're capable of.
Part of the family duties.
Absolutely.
I tell my kids that all the time.
And the more functional help, the less functional, and it's a wonderful thing to watch.
Wow, that's incredible. So now what are it is a nonprofit.
Absolutely, we're
Okay.
501c3.
All right. And what are your short-term goals?
We need another $150,000 to match the $250,000 matching offer. So our immediate need is, somebody got $150,000?
Okay, but wait, we have to back up here. So we've had an anonymous donor.
Right, I'm sorry. Yes. We have an anonymous donor who offered $250,000 matching gift to end July 29th.
Wow.
So we don't have much time left.
Okay, so we're at June 4th today.
for-
All right.
Yeah, like 7 weeks.
So someone just generously said, I'll match.
Yes, I'm gonna match anything you
What-
raise up to $250,000. Now, we're a little over 100. If we don't raise any more, that's all we get is the 100.
Okay.
But if we get the 250, we're halfway to our goal.
All right, we get the challenge. So that's a very generous offer, and I think we need to call on the community to rise to the
And
occasion.
if somebody has 150,000 or more, we'd be glad to
Right,
take
you
it.
won't turn that away.
We won't.
Okay.
No.
But if they've got $5, we want them to feel part of the whole thing.
Absolutely. And that's a good point, Pat, because sometimes it is nice if you can write that big check, but those $5, $10, $25 all make a huge difference.
And like the lady in the Bible that had 2 pence and she gave it all.
She gave it all.
And so she gave as much as she could afford, if not more.
That's incredible. Now, long-term, Bob, what's the long-term goals of Protected Harbor?
To build group homes wherever God tells us to, wherever and whenever. To become a model for others to learn from our experience. We have a friend of the board who is guiding us to create a model for building and operating group homes anywhere. And from then on, we will help any organization that needs help, and we'll do it at no cost.
And that's a great gift in itself. Sometimes we see nonprofits when they've developed a wonderful situation, they
Yeah.
kind of cling,
Yes. Yeah.
and you're saying, no, we'll
We'll
share
help
it.
anybody.
Because it's a need across the country.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I'm not so sure we explained this. The matching goal is to build a men's home.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Do you want to? So we have the women's home.
We have the women's home. It has been tremendously successful. The women have we could sit here all day and tell you stories about the ladies, but yes, it's been tremendously successful. The house parents are just doing a wonderful job. Life is really good.
Oh, that's.
But now we want the men to have the same opportunity. And we have probably enough to almost fill it that are in the wings.
in the wings waiting.
But we are always taking names and profiles so that when we have an opening that we can call people who might have a developmentally disabled men or women. So we have a list of people to fill our homes.
Now, who's involved in the organization?
We have 8 board members and about a dozen friends of the board, like Pat. We have no paid staff whatsoever. None of our board members get the perks that you hear about all the time, a car allowance and all that stuff. We
None of that.
We get nada.
Okay.
Every dime you give goes to the ministry, to building and maintaining, operating the homes.
And you did share that the house parents, they are paid staff, however.
Yes. However, they work for minimum wage. And if you want to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, well, each house parent doesn't. But 7 days on and 7 days off is their normal.
So obviously this is a calling or
Yes,
ministry for
very
both
much.
sets of house parents.
Absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
amazing.
And it takes a very special person. Yeah, I'm willing to do it, but if I don't have a heart for doing it, it's not any good because
Did you have trouble finding them, or God just brought them forward?
You
God has
talk
been
about
so
divine
good.
provision.
He brought them.
Yes.
God is good.
Oh, that's great. So, yeah, we didn't talk about the house parents, but what a critical role they play.
It's unbelievable. Yes.
All right, so we have to say kudos to them
Yes,
because they are
and-
an intricate part of the everything.
And they're on all the time. You can't have a bad day. You know, you got these lovely ladies standing there watching you.
Right.
You know.
Pressure's on.
Yes. Yes.
Now, how can our audience get involved?
You want to take that one?
Okay, the biggest thing we need right now, of course, is money. But from time to time, we have needs for cleaning, maybe some outside painting from time to time. But it comes and goes.
Okay.
And so, if anybody was interested, if they got in touch with us, we would direct them to the house parents, and the house parents then would say, "Gee, you could come up and do crafts with the girls. If you'd like to bake with them, you know, maybe someone will go up and bake on a certain day." But the girls are so busy, that's hard to find time for, because they're always on the go, which is a wonderful thing.
And Pat, speak to that, because I know Bob shared that they're pretty involved at McGregor Baptist.
They're very involved at McGregor. One girl sings in the choir, and she was in the Christmas play last year. And then a couple of them go over to McGregor, and they work in their thrift store,
Okay.
and they sort things. One girl is somewhere else, and she folds towels for a motel or a hotel.
But all the girls have a little job that they go to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they keep busy. What's the greatest challenge facing you right now?
Money?
Money. Okay.
Yeah.
It's that darn money it comes back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Awareness is really the big thing. To convince John Q. Public that he needs to be involved in this. You know, whether you've been touched by developmental disability or not, whether you have a daughter or a son or a grandchild, you need to help those who can't help themselves, and there's nobody else to take care of them.
And that's a good point, because you shared with me that one or two of the board members had children or were affected by a family member, but most just had it in their heart to jump into this vision.
Of the 20 active people we have that are really working, only 2 have developmentally disabled children. So that's 10%.
But we've all seen it with friends and relatives and people at church. So it's not like it's that we haven't been affected, but we haven't been personally affected.
Right. But it is such a need and such a worry of parents.
Yes.
And so I just think you're meeting such a unfulfilled need in the community. And it blesses me. So tell me about some of the greatest things that have happened, because I know you shared a lot yesterday.
Well, that's really easy. The changed lives of the ladies is the greatest part of the ministry, and what keeps me going personally. To see how 6 very different ladies who were a little bit introverted, very shy, very quiet, have become 6 loving sisters who they're just regular people. Mom always did everything for them, and now they have to do it for themselves, and they really like that, and they enjoy that.
That's great. And share, because I know that you actually had a very tragedy happen how many months ago?
It's several months ago.
Okay.
But the valedictorian of our class of ladies, if I may use that, is definitely our Anne Marie. She was a woman of very few words, yet she communicated so much without them. She was a living example of God's unconditional love and grace. She made a positive impact on everybody she ever came in contact with. And she touched more lives in her few short years than most of the rest of us will touch in our lifetimes. According to her sister, Anne Marie loved Protected Harbor, her adult home. At 46 years old, she finally got to leave home and grow up. She grew emotionally through relationships with the other ladies. She had a sense of acceptance and belonging that she had never experienced before. With the ladies, supported by the wonderful house parents, she developed new interests, discovered experiences that challenged and excited her. She wasn't the youngest of her family anymore. She was an equal and respected adult with preferences and abilities that encouraged and enhanced her.
And she was an imp. I mean, she would go and play little jokes on the rest of the girls and get such a kick out of them finding her little whatever she did, like the hat she'd pull out of somebody's house or out of their room and take it and put it someplace else.
Oh, what fun. And now Anne-Marie got sick.
Yeah, then came the unhappy news. Anne-Marie's body was not making blood, and she only had a short time left. Hospice was called in. They said in a matter of a couple of weeks, you'll have to go to a end-of-life facility. Because of our concern on how that would impact the rest of the ladies, we asked the hospice counselor to talk to them. He talked to them, and the house parents and the girls decided, you are not taking our Anne-Marie anywhere. We will do whatever it takes to care for her and take care of her. She lasted 9 more months.
Instead of 2 days.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I know, I wish we had more time to share some of those great stories. But I know yesterday you said it was just they cared for her and just were loving sisters and loving family.
When she was having a good day and she'd be in her wheelchair and the girls would give her whatever she wanted. When she was having a not so good day, she'd sleep on one of the 3 sofas and one of the other girls would be sleeping on one of the other sofas. And if you said to her, what are you doing? She would say, I'm just being here for Anne-Marie.
Oh, what a treasure. Bob, Pat, thank you so much for coming on the show and for us letting the audience know about your incredible organization. So, all right, it's time for our audience to step up. You have $250,000 matching goal. If you can help, please reach out to Bob and Pat.